This I believe in a love that extends a hand to the needy and dares to bear witness in moments of radical unknowing. In my own moments of uncertainty, I have felt this transformative power within this community, proving that even in the dark, we are never alone. A month into my program, I received the news that my father had been admitted and diagnosed with pancreatitis after years of alcohol addiction. My relationship with him had been strained, and I rarely checked in. When I finally spoke to him, I could tell that he was fighting for his life. I entered into an existential crisis that I only comprehended later on in my spiritual care class. I wrestled with guilt for not recognizing that my father's addiction was not a choice, but a struggle that outpowered him. I blamed myself for losing the chance to mend our relationship, and I feared that he would die while I was miles away. It was not at this moment that I turned to Dr. Shalene for spiritual care. Through every encounter and session, I steadily began to face my fears. In each session, I felt God's presence assuring me of the unspeakable forgiveness and love. On October 3rd, 2022, I woke up to calls informing me that my father had passed on. While this was the most horrifying moment, it was also when I learned what it means to heal in community. As I laid hopeless in my bed, grappling with the guilt for not saying goodbye, grieving my mother's new identity as a widow, and imagining the pain my young siblings faced, I received a call from Dr. Shalene, who had worked with the dean then, Dr. Dorosa, to secure a ticket for me to go home. That was a miracle. It was healing in its own self. I was overwhelmed by the care and support from my peers, including my roommate Amaris, and the love of my fellow housemates, who welcomed me back with food, cards, gift, and moral support. In 2023, I faced another existential crisis when I developed a medical condition. To be honest, I had a deep fear of hospitals. So for every appointment, I carried a friend with me, a student. One moment stands out most is when my doctor told me I might have a brain tumor and needed an MRI to rule it out. I was terrified to the core, worried about my future, my studies, and how this news would affect my mom. I kept it as a secret from my family, not realizing how heavy it would become. So my friend Amy, who had journeyed with me on several occasions, then a student at STH, offered to be my moral support. My trip to Brigham was filled with anxiety and what ifs. As soon as I entered the hospital, an indescribable fear gripped me. I felt, I I felt, I felt torn between wanting to tell my mom and wanting to protect her. Then I remembered I had a family here at STH. I got my phone and reached out to the interim dean of students then, Dr. Manglos Weber. I told her I was heading into the MRI room and I was very scared. She responded immediately, and the words that stood out in that moment were, "Be encouraged. We will take care of you." Reading those words and having my friend beside me as a Black woman who had experienced insidious trauma in a medical settings was the profound gift I could ask for. The moment I put on the hospital gown, my ability to think clearly shattered under the weight of my fears. My friend stayed beside me through the entire process, advocating for my care. The test came back negative, but experience taught me the power of presence. The love and care that flows through every aspect of our community, including classes, has truly affirmed me that I'm seen, I'm valued, and I matter. To echo the words of the great theologian, I believe that the truest form of community is the net woven with love, strong enough to hold us when we fall into the depth of despair. This I believe.
This I believe. I believe in tea and toast. Sometimes, of course, tea and toast is simply tea and toast, a warm cup, a buttered slice, a body remembering its needs. And because I also believe in the glory and salvation of metaphor, sometimes tea and toast stand in for many, many other things. The small repair after a great unraveling, the beginning after the ending, the pause that keeps us from mistaking exhaustion for truth, love dressed up as sustenance. Tea and toast is what you make when the big thing has happened and no one knows what to say or do. After the crisis, after the crying, after the long day of trying to be brave, it's humble, it's warm, it doesn't pretend to fix what cannot be fixed, but it says, sit down, stay. Let the holiness of your body be cared for. Let love become ordinary enough to hold, to drink, to taste. Tea and toast is the small beginning and the small repair that is creative and life-giving, making something new from water and bread and time, something warm from something cold. This is creativity. And I also believe creativity saves us because it gives shape to what is empty. It lets color seep into the grayness of grief, pattern materialize from confusion, new thresholds appear as things end. Creativity is that act of faith that teaches us over and over, even when nothing can be undone, something can be made, even if it's just tea and toast. The beauty of metaphor is that it's a helper, one thing holding another thing tenderly. Metaphor points to the glory of the mystery while dressed in overalls. My life has made me fluent in more than one truth at a time. It has schooled me in the inevitability of paradox. I am a beginner and I am an elder. I carry experience and I carry ignorance. I know some things because I have lived them, yet I do not know so much more. This everyday humility is an act of faith that remembers there's always more to discover. And sometimes tea and toast is also a simple act of faith. The pause after the end and before the beginning, putting space between things to honor the sanctity of the self, the sacredness of community, and the power of the pause. So this, I believe, when the ending shows up, and it will, put the kettle on, toast a slice, call someone to the table, begin again. This, I believe.
This I believe. I believe in love that does not panic when my world falls apart. A love that goes ahead of me before I even know how to call its name. Dear friends, I was not supposed to survive. Born and raised in Nigeria, West Africa, my life's journey began in the most unlikely of circumstances. I was abandoned as an infant and left to die in a bush. My story began as a question mark. Will I survive? But before I had a voice, I was a cry no one heard. But one man heard. One man stopped. One man lifted me, a small baby, from the bush.
For 12 tender years, he became my guardian, impacting upon me not only the necessity for survival, but also the invaluable gift of love and belonging. And in his arms, I learned my first theology that sometimes God's love looks like somebody who refuses to walk past you. I come from a people who know how to pray through the night, a people who sing even when the ground beneath them is shaking, a people who have learned that faith is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet decision to keep standing. And I have stood. I did not learn this love in comfort. I learned it in the dark moments of the soul, when prayers felt like they dissolved before reaching heaven, when silence stretched longer than comfort. There were seasons when my faith was not strong, but trembling. I questioned, I wondered, I felt abandoned. And yet, something remained, not loud, not dramatic, but steady, a presence whispering, rest in my love, relax in my care. My presence is always with you. You are my child, and I will not leave you. I have known what it means to look for God and feel like there are no answers. What do you do when your prayer seems to rise and fall right back on you? I have lived there, and even now, there are mornings I wake up afraid to reach for my phone, afraid of the headlines, afraid of names, because I do not know who I have lost today. Back home, my people are suffering. In my country, Nigeria, and in my community, pastors, missionaries, and Christians are being kidnapped, killed, and silenced. And I ask God, where are you? And then, like a quiet anchor in my soul, you tell me, be strong. Do not be afraid. I am with you. I will not fail you. I'll keep you steady. And slowly, fear loses its grip on me because I have learned this. Before I ever reached for God, God had already reached for me. And even now, I pray not out of fear, but out of sheer love for my God. I live, I believe in love does not that goes before me, a love that meets me even in my resistance, a love that calls me from the depths and whispers, "You are not alone." And sometimes, dear friends, this love looks like this community, the STH community, arms that hold you, a hug that reminds you, we are still here for you. I believe that love is an agent of change because it turns my survival into a calling. Now I stand with others who are lost, unsure of who they are and why. Those abandoned in body and spirit, orphans, the displaced persons from terrorism, and children from dysfunctional homes. I reach for them the way love reached for me. I become what saved me, love. I am called to be the one to reach out to others. And even in chaos, I find joy. I have a peace that does not make sense even to me. God's love is my courage, my anchor, my hope, my salvation. He will not fail me. In my African story, we say, no matter how long the night, surely the morning will come. But I have learned, even before the morning comes, love is a steady presence that is already there. And in this broken and anxious world, love is an ever present hope. So today, I do not stand because I have all the answers. I stand because I have been held in the beginning, held in the fire, held in the dark, held when everything in me wanted to fall apart, and that love has never left. So if you ask me what I believe that nothing, not suffering, not silence, not fear, not darkness, not even the pleasures of this world can separate me, us, from the love of God, a love that goes before us, a love that stays with us, a love that will carry us home. And that love is enough. This I believe. Thank you.
This I believe. I believe in beauty. I believe in love, even when. The first question I asked about the Masters of Divinity was, will I become divine? Somehow this journey has helped me find a new language for becoming and becoming with. To those who are beginning this journey, I want to say, do not only look for knowledge, look for people. Be intentional about building relationships. Some of the juiciest theology happens in conversations after class, when thought and lived experience begin to touch each other. You will find professors who really care for you, who help you know yourself, and who make learning feel like growth. Thanks, Chris, Courtney, Claire, Philippi. But it's not paradise. You may also meet professors caught in systems of performance, grades, self-importance. My advice, be patient, be wise, and remember, sometimes dropping a class is also a spiritual practice. Now let's return to what I believe. I believe in beauty that can be contemplated in nature and silence until what we observe begins to pierce us, blurring the boundaries of identity. And we start to realize that we are becoming paradise. I believe in matter changing states, energy moving through quantum fields, particles and waves becoming through relation and observation. We are movement, energy, change, and possibility. Here, I have learned to name the systems that inform our identity, social and religious systems shaped by empire, fear, and control. But I believe beauty can help us resist those systems, reminding us that we are more than tags placed around our necks, more than grades, roles, titles, goals, wounds, or expectations. And I believe in love. Love embodied in community. Love that pours from a warm center within us. Love that mothers, children, and pets seem to recognize without explanation. I believe in love that witnesses the other and heals us. I believe in love enacted in words and deeds, hands held and hugs, in shared bread and wine. Love that forgives, love that restores, love that grows from heart, mind, and gut. I believe in love because I live in it. I believe in beauty because it pierces me. And I believe because I choose to believe. This I believe.
Oh, I see a lot of people I love here. A very touching moment. This I believe. When I feel like I'm walking alone in the darkness of the valley, they are my family, my friends, and my neighbors who say, "Hey, Inyeop, you're not alone. We are here with you, dude." This I believe. This I believe. Even in the chaotic world, I can still hope that you and I call to make a world where love and peace kiss each other, empowered by the holy presence of God. This I believe. This I believe. All of us are sent into the world not as perfect people, but as people who seek justice, shining light into darkness and peace into broken places. This I believe. This I believe. Faith, theology, and spirituality are not only something we learn in classrooms, but something we must live out through our daily lives, through our bodies, and through our love for others, both in and out of school. This I believe. This I believe. Like Martin Luther King Jr. dreamed of people and a country that respect each other, love each other, and serve each other beyond their skin color, language, and culture. We are holding on to the same dream and making it real here at Boston University School of Theology. This I believe. This I believe. There will be moments when we stumble on unexpected rocky roads, but we will be dancing together even in those moments while celebrating our imperfection and interconnection. This I believe. Although some of us are leaving our loving people and community, this I believe, one day we will be able to see each other with deeper and brighter smiles in the near future. This I believe. God bless you.
This I believe. I believe that storytelling has the power to change the world. A little over 2.5 years ago, just shy of 22, I know I'm young, I packed up all my things and drove across the country, moving for graduate school. My mom joined me to keep me company, as a backseat driver, of course, and to hold my cat Oleander. He's rather a poor passenger. At the end of 6 days of driving, almost 3,300 miles later, I landed in Boston. Many of my ways of knowing and being in the world, though, are still based in the place that was my first home. I lived in SoCal for the first almost 22 years of my life. It's why I call highways freeways, and why I put the word "the" in front of a highway number, something I didn't know was weird until I moved here. My home and the people I met there have left their stories within me. They remain in me even as I am so many miles away. When I am in Boston, my sense of place is different. The ocean and the mountains are in the wrong place. Everything is closer together, denser, and water falls from the sky all the time. I don't mean to say that any of these things are bad. In fact, I've begun to see the beauty of the place I am in. The changing seasons, the echoes of the college students laughing on Comm Ave, the chaos of Fenway during baseball season, and the people I have met and now hold dear. Even now, I can feel the imprint of Darby's big laugh after we've done something completely ridiculous, the shocked faces of my classmates, and I'm sure my own, after Dr. Simonson just casually wrote in hieroglyphics on the board. The sound of Jess calling down the hallway saying, "Hi, friend." The sight of the crowds of people trying to get on the train as people just won't move in. I have become a keeper of stories of this place. Stories love sticking to us, just as these have stuck to me, often in ways we fail to understand until some aha moment. They encourage us require an investment from us, act on us, forming a sort of queer kinship within us. They push us to see the world in new ways, to see new possibilities. We live and die with our favorite characters, laugh as we listen to our friends recount their adventures. We hurt as we hear from those being hurt in the world. We feel with them. And when we do, it becomes really hard to place them back in a box and leave them behind. Maybe you're sitting here wondering why the hell I would stand up here talking about stories instead of saying something super profound like some of my friends here. But I hope that you, in listening today, take these stories to be a part of you. That you see my humanity and recognize it in your own. And maybe, just maybe, when you listen to others' stories, they show you that humanity in them too. This is how stories will change the world. This, I believe.